All right, looks like we're live. What's up, everyone? This is the Awesemo.com NHL Hit the Ice show. Got a big slate to talk about today. 11 games, tons of options, some lines switching around as always. But we will talk through it. I will go through and probably hand build some lineups using the Awesemo.com lineup builder that you see on your screen. Promo code Hit the Ice gets you free week-long membership to any Awesemo.com package. If you want access to Fantasy Cruncher in that free week, just make sure you choose a Fantasy Cruncher subscription. You'll get access to the lineup builder, the premium Slack chat, which is one of my favorite things, my projections, Awesemo's rankings, of course. Yeah, a lot of good stuff. Feel free to give this video a like if you do enjoy it. It helps us do it for free, like we're doing it now, but likes always help. Let's see here. Let me post this link in chat. Usually do this while Steve is talking. Steve will be back probably on Thursday. He's still out having some fun in some warm weather, so pretty jealous of him there. But he will be back. Let's see here. Yeah, probably on Thursday. All right. Can never find the video. All right, there we go. All right, let me post this link in chat, and then we will maybe talk a little bit about last night, maybe get going, depending on how many people are in here. All right, let's see. Let's talk about, how do you pronounce that guy's name? De Boer? I always wondered that. I never hear his name. Peter De Boer. It's probably like De Boer or something. It's probably French. Who knows? I'm terrible with these hockey names. I just like the guys that make me money. Yeah, so that's the Sharks head coach. Bunch of stuff that's been switched up on the Sharks. So we can talk about that and maybe just any other big news from today. One that I remember just off the top of my head is Chris Letang is a game time decision. We've got lines in San Jose are just completely messed up because of Joe Thornton being back. Don't ask me why. It's not how I would do it, but we've got Meyer with Thornton and Pavelski, which is fine, but Timo was crushing it with Couture and Hurdle for 10 games straight, and now you switch it up just because Joe Thornton comes back. We're going to have Logan Couture with Hurdle and Kevin LeBanc. So that's a fine line. I mean, we've got data on some of these lines, but it's just frustrating. I really wanted to play Evander Kane with Pavelski and LeBanc, and that second line too, Timo, Hurdle, and Couture. But we will not be getting to do that. Who knows? They're probably going to switch that around, especially if they get off to a bad start against the Rangers, who are the actual woat. They're such a bad defensive team. But maybe not as bad as Anaheim, at least not this year. So we're going to get going here in a second. We've got 11 games, so I'm just going to go through them very quickly. We'll make some lineups at the end. Got to be out of here at 5 Eastern, give some room to the NBA guys. I know there's a big slate tonight, so want to get everything going now. So let's do Calgary and Buffalo. 2.9 implied total for the Flames, 3 for the Sabres. David Rittich in net going up against Carter Hutton. Calgary played last night. They propelled me to a 2-game bink, so that was fun. The Calgary Josh stack with the Frolik empty netter was the nuts, I suppose. Super lucky on my part, but I guess I'll take it. Yeah, Ricola, that guy too. We'll talk about him when we get to that Pittsburgh game, which is coming up. But in this game, I really, really like the Eichel, Skinner, Pominville line. Kind of hard not to with the savings you get with Pominville. Full power play correlation. everything you want really in a line. They're creating a ton of high danger chances. So if you've watched my show or listened to me over the last couple of years or whatever, you can pretty much tell that that's a line I'm going to have exposure to, especially when I'm MMEing. The tournaments tonight aren't great for MME unless you're looking to get $2,000 to $3,000 in one tournament, and not quite looking to do that, especially with the poor payout and the $20. But whatever, probably going to put like 20 to 30 in that $20 and call it good. So the Skinner Eichel Pominville line will be one that I have a bunch of exposure to. And then I don't really love anything on the Calgary side. Like, I know the Calgary top line got there that was yesterday. They got there yesterday, but I didn't really see the game. They're expensive, and Buffalo maybe not as bad as the general public thinks, defensively at least. They're not great, but they're not as bad as they were at times last year. So 2.9 total, back-to-back, doesn't really do it for me. The guy I do like on Calgary's side is Mark Giordano at 5,500, just underpriced. He's a guy that is attempting a lot of shots, will block shots, gets top power play minutes. So he's a guy I can see myself having as a one-off. What's up, bots? All right. Not much interest in any of the depth lines on either side here. On defense, you want Dahlin. It looks like he is on that top power play. I don't know why he would be an E value in Osmo's grades, but I don't know. He knows more than me, so I guess you got to trust him there. Maybe it's just not updated. But let's move on to the next game, because I'm not really going to talk about goalies all that much today. If you want to see my takes on goalies, you can get my projections for free. Use the 1 week trial. I don't love trying to predict goalies that much. There's a ton of variance I like to correlate, as I say all the time. Can't be updated. Yeah, probably not updated, bots. You're probably right on that. So Dahlin is the guy that you want, especially if he is going to be on that top power play. All right, let's go to the next game. This is going to be a fun one for a lot of people. We've got the Islanders and the Penguins. Robin Lehner going up against Matt Murray. I keep doing this. I keep forgetting to put on DraftKings pricing, because I do play DraftKings for the most part. But yeah, that Calgary one line still is more expensive than I'd like on the back-to-back. But still, everything rings the same for Buffalo there. All right, so that's that. Islanders, Penguins, Robin Lehner, Matt Murray. We're going to see some pretty heavy ownership, relatively heavy ownership on the Penguins. I mean, I think we should. Honestly, it's a really good spot against the Islanders, who are pretty poor defensively. Their top two lines give up a ton of chances. But the top line right there, Barzal, Beauvillier, and Jordan Eberle, this is one that I really like as a filler stack. They're cheap. They're all on the power play. They have really good numbers together dating back to the start of last season. So I wrote them up in the Spotlight Stacks article this morning. They're a line that I can see myself mixing in, especially if you're going to even someone on the other side, like the Crosby line or the Malkin Kessel combo. You're trying to get Letang in there if he goes. If not, it's going to be Ricola. But I think Ricola is, 2,500? So if he's in, he was skating with the top power play this morning too. I mean, that's a really tough fade. He would be in a ton of my lineup. So you're going to need to pay attention to this one at 6:30 Eastern to see if Letang is indeed going. Should get that news before you have to make any huge decisions. But if you are crunching, just wait until 6:30 Eastern and see if Letang is in, because if he's not, that does change quite a bit. Ricola does open up a ton of value at his price. So top two lines for Pittsburgh. Really like the Barzal, Beauvillier, Eberle line in tournaments especially, and they're just way too cheap. Pulak's my preferred defensive play on the Islanders, and then it would be Letang if he goes. If not, it's Ricola. So you know what to do with that. Yeah, no false alarms tonight, hopefully. So Vots is referring to the Zucker thing last night, which ultimately didn't end up mattering unless you swapped off, which was probably the best thing you could do if you're hindsighting it. Zucker was oddly announced. It was like, so let's see, the game started at 10 Eastern, right? So Zucker got announced as a scratch by a Vancouver beat writer at 9:53 Eastern. So it was just kind of weird timing. It was weird that only one beat writer tweeted it out. And then like maybe a minute 30 before like that game locked, they said, oh, false alarm. Like it was a mistake or something. And so that's happened once or twice. But yeah, that's pretty annoying. So I almost swapped off all my Zucker. It wouldn't have mattered. It probably would have helped me if I would have swapped off. He even had the official call sheet. So what was the thing with that? Did he just read it wrong and then tweeted that out recklessly? Or like, did he have the wrong sheet? Or what's going on here? How does that happen? Because like, wouldn't you want to check with other beats before you start doing that? I know some of these guys don't care about DFS or gambling, so they probably don't care, but it seems like a mistake you wouldn't want to make as a beat writer, and you really want to be sure of before you start tweeting that out, because people do get awfully angry. All right. Anything else in this game? Power play stack for Pittsburgh, actually, should probably mention. If you can afford it, I know you can. You can game stack this game. I like Murray, but if you can game stack this, I wouldn't seek it out, but like if you're crunching, this would be a game I think is going to be really high event. Not only in Pittsburgh's favor, but I think the Islanders are going to put up some shots here, so I don't hate playing Murray for 8,200. It was on the sheet when it was announced as a scratch and then put back on the sheet. He might not have gotten it right. Yeah, might not have gotten the right score sheet. Who knows? But just annoying. So, whatever. We'll move on. All right. Boston and Carolina. Yaroslav Halak going up against Scott Darling, making his season debut. He was an absolute disaster last season. So who knows what we see from Darling here. But this is the one that I feel like I should have exposure to, and I don't really respect the stall line for Carolina, and they're going to hard match against Bergeron. And those are two lines I really think are awesome possession-wise. I mean, their numbers, they are facts. They have been awesome. Actually, Carolina 2 more than Boston 1, but you know, Boston 1 is probably the best line in the league. We say it every time. They are matchup proof, so feel free to go there. I don't think it's a bad play. They're going to be, 6-7% at most owned, and they're awesome. So they can get there on the power play, and it only takes 1 or 2 power plays for them to put up a couple full-line goals, and then all of a sudden you're sitting there with a Boston 1 stack at 5%, just looking like a genius. So it's happened before. I think they destroyed Carolina last year. I can't remember if that was in Carolina or Boston, but I do remember a time last year where they just crushed them, and I was completely off of them. So I'm not like Xing Boston 1 out, but probably won't have much exposure to this game all around. Aho, Teravainen, Furlan is the line I would want to go to if I'm going to Carolina, but I don't really love their matchup against Krejci, Heinen, and DeBrusk. So this one's kind of a cross-off for me. Very minimal exposure on either side. All the Bruins, please. Why do you say that? Got to get this one. I'd be interested to see what Steve would do for this game. I mean, he would say that Boston 1 would be matchup proof, and I agree. But I just don't think I'm going to have enough lineups where I'm going to get to them. Maybe one time if I roll with 20. But they didn't come up for me at all. So, yeah, fade. I think I'm more with you, Corsi. Defenseman here, you've got Krug for Boston, but he's 5,500. Really tough to fit in if you are going to a full Boston 1 stack, and that would be the time that I would want to go to him. So probably won't end up with much Krug. Dougie Hamilton at 5,400 always comes up as a solid value for me. He is just a DFS dream. 5,400 I think is a fair price. So he's going to be the guy that, if I don't have anything else from this game, it will be Hamilton. All right, let's go to the next game. Another one that I don't really love, but Detroit and Columbus. 2.5 implied total for the Red Wings. 3.5 for Columbus. Columbus top line here. Oh, I should say Jimmy Howard, Korpisalo in net. No real hot takes either way there, but we're not going to see a hard match from Columbus. Andreas Athanasiou is out. Detroit is going with 11 forwards and 7 defensemen, it looks like. I don't think Carolina can field a tough enough line to challenge Boston 1. That stall line, I mean, go look at that stall line's numbers because they're fantastic. And we're getting into the part of the season where you're starting to see who is, like, these numbers should be stabilizing or regressing, and they're just not for that line. They've been awesome. Maybe the results haven't been there, but in terms of getting shot attempts, they're one of the best lines in the league and limiting other line shot attempts. So that's the most important thing. All right, this game, Detroit-Columbus. Columbus 1 is fairly priced, I think. Detroit is very bad, but I didn't end up with a ton of Columbus 1 on my initial crunch. I would assume they're going to be pretty popular here. Home, top line, it makes sense. That second line, I kind of like, but they're not really free. And Foligno, Jenner, Josh Anderson, I like Anderson as kind of a one-off guy, especially when we have uncertainty with Columbus 2, or the Columbus lines in general. But this line is 15-1 in total, doing quick math there. Like, there are some other lines that are maybe 1,000 more that I'd much rather go to. So it's tough for me to get to Columbus 2 here, even though I really like the numbers. I would be going to the Columbus top line, if anything, here. I think you can fit Boston 1 easier on FanDuel. Yeah. If you can do it easier on FanDuel, then sure. I'm not saying don't play Boston 1. You can play Boston 1 literally against anyone. They're that good, but just wouldn't be a spot that I would want to go heavy on them. So that's just me, though. Josh Anderson is a fantastic name. I mean, sure. Yeah. The Wenberg, Duclair, and Bjorkstrand line is actually super cheap. And let me look at their numbers quick, because I do remember them having solid possession numbers, at least Wenberg and Bjorkstrand together. So this line has played, 20 minutes, super high event, as you would expect, with Bjorkstrand and Duclair, giving up a ton of high danger chances, creating even more. So maybe Columbus 3. You know what? Actually, I'd probably consider this the second line, but whatever. Let me see. This might be a line you could fit with Boston 1. Yeah, you could do it for sure. You could probably even put in Seth Jones. You could probably get Halak. And then look at that. You got 3,600 remaining. So speaking of Boston 1, there's one of your plays. They're gonna get some Detroit depth, which is exactly what you want. Any line going up against Detroit depth is very good. Let's see. What else in this game? Josh Anderson. That's your name. Got to get this one. Josh Anderson. Nice to meet you, Josh. You're always in chat, so good to see you around, Josh. All right. Seth Jones, still not listed on the top power play, but again, Columbus is doing this. Gotta add Osterley as the last D. Yeah, always Jordan Osterley. So Columbus is doing this balanced power play really not helpful for DFS. That's the only thing keeping me off Columbus 1 is like one of the best stacks. So I just prefer other spots tonight. They're not going to hard match. They're going to see some favorable matchups, but just playing the pricing game here, and there are some other lines that are cheaper that I think are in better spots and maybe have better players. Josh Manson, yeah. All right, I don't have anything on the Detroit side that's worth talking about. Maybe Larkin, Mantha, but probably won't end up with any Detroit tonight. Not even like a punt defenseman. I don't see anyone that looks appealing to me, especially based on the numbers that I have. So you're on your own. You're on your own with Detroit. Apparently, I just lost my voice. So good stuff. All right. Let's go to Dallas and Montreal. We have Ben Bishop going up against Carey Price. Some lines that are messed up on the Dallas side. We've got Tyler Seguin going with Alex Radulov and Tyler Pitlick. So they got Pitlick back on that top line, but they took off Jamie Benn for whatever reason. I don't know why you'd break up Seguin and Benn. I don't know why you'd break up Seguin, Benn, and Radulov. But that's what Dallas is doing. So this is another one I don't really love. Dano, Tatar, and Gallagher probably going to see the Seguin line. Tyler Seguin, Jamie Benn, Lehkonen. Lehkonen's on the Canadian side. But anyways, Dano, Tatar, and Gallagher are probably going to see the most time against Seguin. That line the Dano line does have very good possession numbers. So I don't really love Dallas. I hate that they switched up their lines. Can't stand that. So if you are going to Dallas, it's probably with the power play stack. But that gets real pricey really quick. You know, these three guys, Seguin, Benn, and Radulov, probably end up together at even strength at some point. They almost always do, especially if the game is close and near the end. So it's not like they're uncorrelated. They play together on the power play. So you can certainly do that. But it just gets really, really pricey. And there's a lot of value tonight elsewhere. Mid-tier value, I should say. Klingberg's the guy on Dallas. Not a great value again here, though. I think Dallas is a little bit overpriced for the 2.7 implied total. So I do agree there with Osimo. On the Montreal side, I just really don't love anything here. Gallagher is 5,600, and that's a price that I'll always look to play him, but I think I am going with 4-3-1 tonight, being that it is a bigger slate, so I probably won't end up with Gallagher, Dano, and Tatar. All right. Let's go to the next game, New Jersey and Tampa Bay. We've got 2.5 implied total for New Jersey, 3.1 for Tampa. Keith Kincaid going up against Andrei Vasilevsky. On New Jersey's side, in my eyes, they're really a one-line team carried by Taylor Hall, Nico Hischier, and Kyle Palmieri. They're really expensive as a trio, but that's really all I have on the New Jersey side is just that top line. They're not matchup proof, but I don't really prefer either matchup with Point or the Stamkos line, whichever line they do face the most at even strength. And it's probably not even going to be a very hard match. The Cirelli line actually did see the most time against Carolina 1 in their last home game, the Aho line. But I would just expect Tampa Bay to mostly roll lines here. Maybe Cirelli sees a minute or two more against Hischier, Hall, Palmieri than the other two lines. But yeah, it's just New Jersey 1 you're worried about. And if Cirelli does see that top line for New Jersey, even an extra couple minutes, that's just more time for Stamkos and the point lines to do damage. And specifically the Stamkos line. Hard not to like them as one of the best stacks on the night. Like, what are these prices on DraftKings, by the way? Stamkos at 5,600, Kucherov at 6,300. I think they got JT Miller correct, especially playing on a line with Stamkos and Kucherov. But Stamkos should never be 5,600. Kucherov should never be 6,300. Those guys are at least, I would say, $1,000 underpriced on DraftKings. So you're getting a great value on Tampa 1. Really nothing bad to say about them. I'm not worried about the matchup against Zacha, Travis Zajac, or the Rooney line for the Devils. So firing up a bunch of Tampa Bay 1. I don't see any way else around it as far as MME goes. Just kind of driving that home, 52.4 Corsi for percentage for Tampa 1 last season when they were together, over 33 scoring chances per 60, over 12 high danger chances per 60. So got some data there. They're awesome together at even strength. Stamkos and Kucherov could have me as their other winger, and we'd probably do some damage, and I can't even skate. Sergachev is 4,600 on the top power play. He is the obvious pairing with Stamkos, Kucherov, and JT Miller, who are all on the top power play, but you also have Ryan McDonough, who will probably see the most ice time, and he's only 4K. So doesn't get power play one time, but will see a ton of even strength time with everyone. So he's the guy that you look to for some value and more of a floor type play than Sergachev. All right. Next game, Vegas and Nashville. Yeah, Jake Hari, 5,000 at wing on Tampa Bay 1. No PP time, though. Yeah, I probably wouldn't be on the power play, being that I can't really skate. Yeah, I wouldn't be on the power play, but maybe I could run into a couple assists. Stamkos could throw one off my skate or something and it go on the net, maybe get a goal here and there. All right, Vegas against Nashville. Malcolm Subban going up against probably UC Saros. So no Fleury for the Golden Knights, obviously. And I'm really looking at Nashville's side here. I wish Fiala was back on the second line. I don't know for the life of me why he's not. So it's really just the top line for Nashville here that I want a piece of. That's Johansson, Arvidsson, and Philip Forsberg. Anytime they're at home, I think they are in play. I hope they don't hard match against Carlson, Marchessault, and Riley Smith. FanDuel Cruncher when you can. Oh, you want me to run some FanDuel Crunches? Yeah, I could probably do that. Depending on how many more games do we have after this? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. We could probably do a quick FanDuel Crunch after this. I'll go quick. Yeah, Smashville 1. There you go. Bobby Boom. PK scores versus this bro. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, Subban versus Subban. So, yeah, it's Nashville 1 here. That's really all I have. They're just a very, very good line. Hoping they don't hard match against Carlson, Marchessault, Smith. Will be pretty disappointed if I see that because I'm going to have a bunch of Nashville 1. So they haven't been hard matching, so that would make me believe that they don't here. And I'd like to see them go up against Hala and Cody Eakin lines. So I'm assuming that's going to be the case, and that's why I do like Nashville, even though Vegas isn't a team I want to attack in general. Nashville 1 just plays so well at home, and they're almost always in play for me when they are there. Defenseman here, nothing too notable, I guess. Roman Josi again, underpriced. He's going to continue to be an A value, A points grade in Osmo's rankings until he's priced up over 6K. I'm almost sure of it. He's just a really awesome player. Maybe not the highest upside for DFS, but top pairing, going to see 22, 23, 24, 25 minutes some games. Does get power play time. I mean, he's just a stud. So 5,400 is an underprice by probably 10%, I would say. All right. That's about it for that game. No real interest in the Vegas Golden Knights. All right, here we go. Wild and the Oilers. 2.7 implied total for the Wild. 2.9 for the Oilers. I was a little shocked to see that the Oilers were a healthy favorite against Minnesota here. I know they're at home. I know they've been a little bit better this year defensively. McDavid's been McDavid. But like the Draisaitl line, the Ryan Strome line, those lines are awful defensively. So I want a piece of Minnesota here. I prefer Stahl, Zucker, and Niederreiter. I will say you should caution against using too much Minnesota, even as I say I like Minnesota, because like if they come out flat again, and I don't expect them to come out flat, but they look terrible for the first period and a half against Vancouver last night. So, whatever. It's a narrative thing. I wouldn't expect them to come out flat again, but they could. And if they do, you're going to see the lines put in a blender really quick. They were put in a blender last night, midway through the game. But Stahl, Zucker, and Niederreiter are going to start together. Koivu, Parise, and Granlund are going to start together. And assuming they don't get completely pounded right away, they should have a ton of success against the depth of the Oilers. Edmonton has been doing some matching, not super hard, but just logically, I would assume they would want to have McDavid avoiding the Koivu line because that would be playing right into the hands of the Minnesota Wild. So I'm going to guess McDavid sees the most time against Stahl, Zucker, and Niederreiter. And I think you can attack either side of that. I'd rather have the Stahl, Zucker, Niederreiter line as a full stack. But McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, and Yamamoto are perfectly fine in tournaments. Minnesota, not a team I want to attack in general, but on the road, on a back-to-back, and a matchup that I think is pretty neutral. McDavid has to be at least in your player pool, I think. So I wouldn't get there in single entry. I probably wouldn't get to either side of this game in single entry, but McDavid is McDavid. So you see a value even at 8,100, just a transcendent player. So looking at the pricing here, you got Suter, Dumba, and Spurgeon for Minnesota. Spurgeon the best value, I think. Then it's Dumba. I think Suter's quite overpriced, so probably going to stay away from him and keep. I do prefer Dumba again over Spurgeon, but it's a little bit different of a pricing tier. So $1,400 difference obviously does make quite a bit of difference when every dollar counts. What else in this game? Adam Larson, the block shot king, at 3,400. If you can't get up to Clefbaum, I think is fine. They're probably going to see a bunch of time with McDavid. So Larson's the guy I go to when he's at this price, and when he gets put up around 4K, I usually avoid him. So he's a pretty easy guy for me to read. All right, next game, Ottawa and Arizona. This is one that I don't think is all too difficult. We've got no hard match on Arizona's side. I don't really want to go to anything on Ottawa. I do respect Arizona as a team. 2.4 implied total for Ottawa really tells me all I need to know. Not the biggest Vegas guy, but that's one of the lowest totals on the night. And so quite a bit of respect for Arizona from Vegas here. Galchenyuk, Keller, and Richard Panik, I think, are a great stack in GPPs, as are Stefan Perlini and Christian Fischer. So I'm going to have exposure to both of these lines. I would assume I end up with more Stefan Perlini and Fischer just because they are dirt cheap. I like some Sharks tonight. I like Tampa 1, and there's value all around, like I've said a bunch of times, but like pairing those two lines together will allow you to get in an Erik Karlsson, will allow you to get in a Brent Burns. So yeah, don't mind taking a low price line with a mid-tier line and double stacking some really awesome defensemen here. If you are going to defenseman in this game, you're probably going to Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Jason Demers is the punt guy. I would go to top pairing with Ekman-Larsson, get to see 20 plus minutes. No power play time, but you're looking for block shots and hopefully assists here. He's not a guy that's going to light it up on the score sheet. He's just cheap and play some decent minutes. All right, let's go to the next game so we can get to some lineup building and playing around with some fantasy cruncher. All right, Flyers, Ducks, 2.7 implied total for the Flyers, 2.8 for the Ducks. I'm surprised this hasn't gotten up to 6. I'm actually going to check that right now. Still at 5.5. Well, this is one I actually have a ton of interest in. So just notes to get out of the way. We've got Ryan Miller going for Anaheim. No John Gibson. That makes quite a big difference for me and for most people. Gibson, well known as one of the best goaltenders in the NHL. I think he's top 3 easily. Could make a case for him as the best goaltender in the NHL. Ryan Miller is fine. He's a fine backup. Like, not a guy that... Like, I'm not attacking the Ducks because it's Ryan Miller. I'm attacking the Ducks because of how many quality chances they're allowing. So, first of all, they're giving up the most shot attempts per 60, the most scoring chances per 60, and the second most high danger chances per 60 at even strength this year. Yeah. All the Flyers. I would agree with that, Bobby. So you've got Couturier with Giroux and Travis Konechny. I love that line at even strength. Whether they go up against Kessler or Getzlaf, I'm assuming they go up against Kessler. Anaheim's been doing some weird stuff with their line matching. Getzlaf matched with Pavelski in their last home game, and then Kessler matched with Eichel 2 games ago, and then Kessler with Barzal 3 games ago. Your boy TK. TK's my boy? I didn't know that. I feel like I never play him, but I will be doing that tonight. So Philly just way too cheap for me. You get them for what? Under 15K? I mean, that's just way too cheap. Or you can go to the full power play stack with Gostisbehere, with Voracek's on that second unit with Nolan Patrick. Is that confirmed? Man, I must have missed that. Because I really wanted to play Voracek for the onslaught. Yeah. No. Voracek is on the top unit. So I think we just have that wrong. Or maybe Fantasy Cruncher had that wrong. I don't know. But it looks like Daily Faceoff has Voracek on the top power play unit. But I love him for 5,500 if you're playing limited entries, if you're not going 4-3-1. Is he PP2? I see him on the top power play. But I'm pretty sure someone did... Oh, yeah, Konechny is on the top power play. Someone tweeted at me. No? Patrick? Someone said that TK is on the top unit earlier today in our Slack. All right, yeah, link me the tweet later. So I clearly don't know what I'm talking about. All right. I think Philadelphia 2 is fine as a filler stack. I think I would prefer, as in terms of a full stack, if you are running 3-3, I like that Columbus third line, and there was a couple other lines up there. Oh, the Arizona second line, or the Stepan line, as a better value in total, but not scared of Patrick or Voracek. And then on the Anaheim side, my numbers just really love Getzlaf and Raquel, especially when they're priced this low. So you see Osmo has the same thing here. They just deserve more than their prices right now. And it's not like they aren't producing either. They've had success lately. Henrique possibly on that top line with them. I think Richie is questionable tonight, so that's going to mess things up. Who knows what the Ducks lines will look like, but I'm pretty confident we do see Raquel and Getzlaf together. Those guys are almost always together, so just be aware of that. If you are playing Henrique and you don't have anyone in the later game, put him in the utility spot. I mean, you should be doing that anyways with 2 centers. But just make sure you are put someone in the utility spot so you have room to swap in case things get dicey when these lines come out. Yeah, I thought it was... Yeah. Konechny... Yeah, okay. So it's Philadelphia 1 plus Patrick plus... Got it. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking of there. But that's what I saw earlier today too. Okay, you're right, Corsi. I probably misspoke there, but that's what I thought I was saying. All right. Let's move it on. Just to recap this game, actually, I like the top line. Keep an eye out for Henrique or whoever's on that top line with Raquel and Getzlaff. And then really love Philadelphia 1 here. And the power play stack. All right. Rangers, Sharks, last game of the night. Talk about frustrating. We're not going to see a hard match here. San Jose has not been doing it. Even when they're defensemen, like, I haven't even seen Vlasic hard matching that much. But we've got Braun, Vlasic on the top pairing. It looks like, I don't know if that's been the case for the whole year. But anyways, all these guys are going to see ice time. San Jose switched up their lines. We've got Timo Meier with Thornton and Pavelski, mentioned it off the top of the show. And then Tomas Hertl with Couture and Kevin Labanc. Joe Thornton is back, obviously, and that muddies things up quite a bit because I hate playing Joe Thornton. I hate the correlation or lack thereof that we have on that top line with Pavelski and Timo. Not on the same power play units, so I think the best line as far as a full stack goes is Couture, Hertl, and Labanc. They're all in the top power plays you see there. I mean, really hard to argue against them. Their pricing is pretty fair, I think. And then I think what those lines do for me, the Sharks lines, are make me a little bit more interested in the Rangers side. I like Zibanejad and Matt Zuccarello. There's no Arundel going for the Sharks. It's going to be Martin Jones. So Zibanejad and Zuccarello are a dynamic duo that I like. You can pair them with Neil Pionk for the top power play exposure. Got Erik Karlsson here for $5,600. He is the better value over Brent Burns. Very similar players. Burns the higher ceiling, but you're paying $1,400 more. So probably going to have some more exposure to Erik Karlsson, but if I can fit Burns, I'm going to try to do it. And I think I will have a decent amount of Burns, but it seems like in my initial crunches, like one of those two guys is in every one of my lineups. It's just such a good spot for the Sharks here. Really sucks they switched up their lines. Evander Kane, probably going to see some lower ownership, but if you are running two-mans like Kane and Karlsson or Kane and Burns together, I think is a really awesome two-man if you can afford it. All right, guys, what should we do for the rest of the show? We've got about 10, 12 minutes. I want to give the NBA guys, Adam and Laffy, have a show after this, the deeper dive. Feel free to give us a like if you did like this show, or if you just like what we do at Awesemo.com. It helps us do this for free. I'm going to mention the promo code, hit the ice, and then while I'm doing that, you guys can tell me what you want to do with Cruncher. I know someone mentioned FanDuel Crunches. We'll do that really quick. Pittsburgh Onslaught. All right, we'll do that, Kevin. Promo code, hit the ice. You get access to a free week of Awesemo.com Premium. Choose your package. If you want Fantasy Cruncher included, make sure you sign up for a Fantasy Cruncher package. You use the promo code, hit the ice. You get access to the lineup builder that you see on your screen. You get access to the premium Slack chat. You get access to Awesemo's rankings that you see. And then my projections as well. So use that promo code. If you like what we do, or you like what you see on the screen, try it out for yourself. So you get a free week, get to be in the premium Slack. It's always a fun time in there. A lot of tilting, hopefully a lot of screenshots. So it's good stuff. Yeah, give us the goods, just like Bobby says. All right. Pittsburgh Onslaught. Let's try that. Actually, let me do some FanDuel crunches while we're waiting for this. Cheat code. Any money line locks for tonight? I don't really do much betting. I guess my girlfriend would say otherwise. She thinks DFS is betting, but whatever. So no, I don't have any money line locks for you. But I mean, I can tell you teams that I think are going to win. Sharks. Penguins. There you go. All right, let's see what we can do on FanDuel. Let's do 4 uniques. Let's do, oh wait, what's the minimum? 54. We'll do 54 there. Put some randomness in there. We'll do some 3 threes. How about this? Big slate, so let's limit it to 20 at the very most. Actually, let's limit it to 15. Take an underdog, like who? Isles? Man, I probably wouldn't. Pittsburgh's scary. I guess I don't know what the price is. I don't really know how to gauge value in moneyline betting. You stack D with your lines? You certainly can do that. Yeah. Yeah, I like doing that if it works out that way. Here, you want to do a line stack here? We'll include line 3s here. Is everything? Yeah. All right, let's do 100 and see how quick that goes. And then we're gonna do a pit onslaught. Yeah, the onslaught's always fun. Remember Sid and Cash? Yeah, that was a fish play, Bobby, and you got there. So, you play Cash, Bobby? I didn't know that. I thought you were a tournament guy only. Can you do this? You know what? Let's pretend like Ricola's in. I think he's 2,500, and let's put in Ruidel just to see what it looks like if Letang is out. I think this is gonna be pretty fun because Ricola would probably slot into that top unit. I don't know how many minutes he's gonna play at even strength, but the power play alone and being minimum salary is pretty awesome. I used to get Marchessault and Cash at 3K. Oh, when he was on the Panthers? Yeah, dude. You guys a stud. All right, so we got a full Pittsburgh 1 power play stack. Ignore Chad Ruedel and pretend that's Ricola and pretend that Letang is out. So what else would we want to do with this? 4,800 left. I think I would want to do something like this. What do we got? You can do like 4K or so for a defenseman. Spurgeon. There you go. Who can you fit in a goalie? You can fit in all these guys. Yeah. All right, what else? We got the pit onslaught. Let's see how our FanDuel crunches are doing. Oh, they're already done. All right, Fantasy Cruncher just cruising today. Should have limited goalies, but you get the idea. All right, who asked about FanDuel crunches? Alex Tuck. How does Alex Tuck sound? I like Alex Tuck, but not really in love with him tonight in Nashville. Ooh, look at this. That's pretty nice. I always forget you can do 4-4 on FanDuel. I still like to correlate my goalie, so I'd probably do 4-3-1 if I was playing a ton on FanDuel. And maybe I should play on FanDuel tonight, honestly, because there's just not very many good MME tournaments. There's not really any at all. So I don't know. I'm assuming FanDuel has a $4 tonight. Maybe I should go over and play that. But so, man, just using the Fantasy Cruncher projections, you're seeing I do agree with that. I mean, I agree that the Sharks should be very heavily owned. Sid the Kid, Malkin. I'd have more of an even split there. I actually think I would want more of the Malkin line, but Simone, is it? Is it Simon or Simone? I can't remember. Dominic. Anyways, this guy right here. He's 3,600 on FanDuel. That's an absolute steal playing with Crosby and Gensel. That line has some decent offensive numbers together dating back to the start of last season. All right. What else do we got in here? Look at all the Pittsburgh lineups you can get. Can really make it happen. Ooh, I don't like that. All right. Well, if that's it, then, oh, geez, it's already 4:55 Eastern. All right. I'm going to get out because we've got an NBA show on after this. If you are into NBA, it would be a really good show to tune into. We've got Live Before Lock with, I believe it's Chris Spags and Fast Eddie Fear after this. So they'll be taking you through the NBA slate. Get into the premium Slack chat if you are not already. Get a free week. You get access to Fantasy Cruncher. You get access to the lineup builder. Basically everything I showed on the screen. And all day, not just during the time of the stream. Osmo's rankings, they're great for cash, they're great for GPP. He's got the stack rankings in there as well. My projections, you can upload those to Fantasy Cruncher if you don't want to use theirs, or if you just want to see if mine are good or not. Feel free. Give us a like if you do enjoy what we do. Helps us do this for free. Check out the Morning Skate article by Nolan Kelly. He does a really good job breaking down any notes from this morning skate. Power play article by Bots and Chris Wassel. Check that out on osmo.com. And good luck, guys. Hopefully, see you at the top of the leaderboards once again tonight.